What you know about me? Seen it all, heard it all. Oh, what you know about me? I done it all, just want it all. Oh, what you know about me? I seen it all, heard it all. Oh, what you know about me? Oh, what you know about me? Oh, what you know about me?
Bogle in this thing. We out here. You know what it is, man. Your favorite podcast, the best duo ever. You know what it is, man. I'm your host as usual, Jarrett, Chief Revenue Officer at Outside the Box Digital. And of course, I got my brother, my brethren, your favorite CEO, Chadeo. What's good, cuz? What's the vibes?
You are insane.
Lunatic.
I'm gonna keep it honest with you. Like, you know, we spend so much time around each other. You know, a lot of people say we could predict the shit that we gonna, say and do. You just do some unpredictable shit. Sometimes that just really catches me off guard. That I'm like, I didn't think he was gonna do that.
Yo, that shit, what you know about me?
From where? From where? That's all I'm saying. From where, bro?
From here. That's why they love it. From here. That's why they love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, see, once again, this is what we talk about. Second favorite day of the week, pod day. This was our favorites, because who can come to work and just do that? How many of y'all can go to work? Because this is work for us. This is work for us. How many of y'all go to work and can actually have just a conversation with your partner or your friend or your colleague at work and have a good laugh like that? So many people go to work and just have a terrible work experience, where even having an experience like that would mean the world. This is why we love what we do. So we're going to turn that shit into G&T. It flows.
I knew it would.
G&T, grateful and thankful. And that's what we're grateful for. Being able to just have the courage and the strength to take the journey, take the leap, like Cuzzo said, jump off the mountain and try this entrepreneurial thing to develop what we would consider to be an ideal work experience.
That's a fact.
So I'm grateful to you, Cuzzo. Thank you for the opportunity to take this motherfucking journey with you, brother.
It's love, baby. Doing what you love with the people you love. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. If you don't get that, I don't know, man. If you can't like that, your perspective is whack.
That's a fact. And listen, we start every show the same way, and we will not change today. We have another phenomenal guest. We're batting 1,000. We have another phenomenal guest that's coming on right now. Listen, we was in the green room and he was dropping gems. I promise you. Take note, get ready to download the episode, anything you need to rewind this and hear the gems, because I guarantee you're not going to catch them all, but he's ready to drop gems on the show. Another phenomenal guest, I promise you. You ready?
He's ready. I'm ready to go, baby.
Let's start the show.
Get it, man. Before we introduce this brother, man, shout out to also another G&T for our brother Tori. You know what I'm saying? So our brother Tori, man, shout out to you, brother. He's somebody that's a part of the community. We met at a party, man. He's been a solid brother ever since we've met. He's helped bring a lot of interviews like this to life. So I just want to say shout out to you, my brother. You know, nothing but love. I know you're going to be on the check-in. You know what I'm saying? And for the first time listeners, welcome to More Than a Title. If you don't know us, I'm Jarrett, Chief Revenue Officer, Outside the Box Digital. I got my brother Chadeo. And this is where we go beyond the positions, the accolades, fancy job descriptions. We get to the heart of who people really are and what drives them to make a difference. So this brother's story truly defines what it means to serve with a purpose. You know what I'm saying? So he's been putting in work in the village of Hempstead his entire life. He started out in the Sanitation Department back in '89, went on to serve as a volunteer firefighter for over 26 years, even answering the call to help people days right after 9/11. And today he's a village trustee and rerunning for election in 2027, making real change where he grew up. But what's real about his stories, from public service to real estate to community leadership, comes back to one thing: giving back to the people he cares about, which is us, the community, the culture. You know what I'm saying? So you already know, y'all see him. Y'all see him in the election room. Y'all see what it is. You see him down there in City Hall making things happen. You see him in the community. You see him in the conferences. You've seen him everywhere. Now he's on your very first He's on his very first podcast on your favorite podcast. How about that?
That's a double entendre podcast.
Come on, what we doing here? Let's do it. But let's introduce our brother, the Honorable Kevin D. Boone, y'all. Let's go.
Thank you. Just want to give
brother honor, baby.
Thank you. Just want to give it back to you guys again, giving it back to Tori, our brother. for making this happen. I've known Tori, man, you talking about since junior high school. I'm not going to age myself, but it's been that long, and I've been out of school since '88. So it's been a long time for me. But again, I greatly appreciate you guys, what you do here on the podcast, and greatly appreciate this time with you guys. Thank you very much.
Nothing but love, brother. We appreciate you, man. Shout out to Tori. They said 88. Damn, I was born in 88. Honorable. What's up? What's up, Cam? You a big bro.
Hey.
I was outside. I was outside running around.
You out here, that'd be great.
Yeah, that was in those formation days where that nickname came from, right around that age range, right there, right there. That's a fact.
But let's get into it. You know how we like to start. So big bro, what we like to start, we like to talk about the mindset, right? We want to get people to really understand who you are, what you've done. So let's start from the beginning, bro. Like, what was growing up like? What are some early influences?
I would say definitely my dad played a huge part.
Yeah.
Definitely before my father, I would say one of my uncles, the one that basically helped everybody, even in the political realm. His name was Zeddy Brown. He was the one that was instrumental in the family when it came to the politics, working from the county to town, what have you. When my father needed help, it was my uncle Zeddy Brown that actually helped my father and a few of my other older cousins at that time to facilitate employment and things of that nature, even with connecting with the politics. But I would say outside the county employment, where my father actually rose through the ranks himself from a regular worker to a supervisor of a huge Nassau County garage, which incorporated just not the village of Hempstead, but the 5 towns and 5 towns, which is huge. He actually went through the ranks himself. He was a community leader. He was one of the people that a lot of people in Hempstead and around the general area came to, regardless if it was looking for a job, summer job, employment, just general help. My father was that go-to person. So I've always watched my dad, my Uncle Zeddy, be those people that were actually helping out the whole community, or as they say, the whole hood in that sense. So I give it back to my father, and I'm thankfully that my father and my mother are still with us. But I give it to them because, like I said, if it was not for my dad and me following him around, getting signatures when I was old enough to get signatures, go door knocking for other elected officials that were running at that time, that's how I learned how to do and be grassroots, connecting with the people was through my father.
That's real. I was gonna ask you the shit because we talk about the mindset, right? Like when you see what's the illest gem that your pops gave you that you stuck to? Because it's one thing seeing pops doing the work, but you know what I'm saying. But then what is one thing that you gravitated to you that said I'm gonna have to carry the torch?
My father's work ethic was impeccable. Even to this point right now, he was, like I said, he was always that go-to person, and he just never stopped. There was no like I'm tired. He just always kept going if he didn't feel good, no matter what. My father, old school, straight down. He was raised down south, so his growing up was a lot tougher than mine's. So his mindset was like, no, I'm going to make this happen, and he did. Um, Actually helping the first African American mayor, which was Mayor James Gardner, to become mayor of the Incorporated Village of Hempstead. He was very instrumental in that. That man sat there for 16 years. One of the most, I would say, decorated mayors in the Incorporated Village of Hempstead, and I'd say statewide. Mayor Gardner is known all over. He was actually the president of the New York State Corporation of New York Corporation of Mayors and something else. Well, he actually dealt with all the mayors in the United States, plus on the state level as well. So my father was instrumental in all of that coming up, and I had a front row seat to all of this. Like the meeting before the meeting would usually sometime be at my house. And as a kid growing up, they'd be like, you hear, but you don't hear. You could sit, you could stay and, hang around. But what you see here and hear here stays here. So I always came up with that. And that always, a lot of things that they said and how they moved stuck with me.
Yeah. That's real work ethic. Good call. Yeah.
they say that children mainly not listen to what if their parents tell them to do something, 9 times out of 10 they're not really going to do it, right? You have some that are a little bit better, but a lot of children don't listen. They watch, and they mimic behavior, right? They mimic the behavior. So what your father was pretty much doing was just showing you without telling you, hey, this is what work ethic looks like. This is what, being a man of the people looks like. This is what this looks like. He just let you see it and then figure it out later. You understand what I'm saying? That ties into something that Cuzzo says all the time. He says, teach them to fish, and then they'll learn you sell fishing poles.
Yeah.
You see? So that, I'm glad that, he got you involved, because another thing that we have in the urban communities is a lot of us don't have that father to give any type of role model experience to us from youth, anything to follow. So we choose somebody, right? We choose somebody to follow. And so the ones that we do have, they're far and few. You understand what I'm saying? So
My father,
they did that.
Uncle to basically everybody.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
be.
so everybody be like, where's Uncle Henry at? And they wasn't a blood relative, but I knew what they were getting at. And I'm like, all right, hold on, let me go get them.
That's real. Nah, I definitely felt the work ethic. I know that changed my life. See, pops work. My pops worked for 27 years from 7 in the morning to 12 o'clock at night. Had 2 jobs in the same building and made sure I went to school right across the street. Would be working, come across the street, coach the basketball games, go back to work, come home at 12, maybe drink a beer, watch TV. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. And guess what? He's up at 5:30 waking us up.
That's old school. That's what it was.
That's how it is. And so as a kid seeing that, you're like, damn, you're doing all that. Like, damn, I wouldn't want to. Damn, it's raining today. I don't want to go out. Like, you're doing it though. You're showing it. You're not late when you have to pick me up. You're doing everything you have to do. You might not be able to do everything, but what you can do, you're doing. You know what I mean? And so I looked at that as a young kid, like, look, I got to get to it. If you're gonna be busting your ass to make sure I'm in this Catholic school, I got to figure out a way to make sure that the next generation of us, we have to have something to go to. Like, so that work ethic I felt.
Yeah, I mean, I went through my own trials and tribulations, so I'm not going to say that everything I did perfect, because I didn't. I'd be lying if I sat here and said that. Did I listen to everything my father told me? My
Absolutely not.
No, but I could say if hindsight 2020, if I could have went back, if I could go back and hearing everything that I still hear in my head from them now, it would be much different.
That's real too.
Yeah, I think I ain't gonna lie. I think we all go through that. Like, I mean, well, when how they say when you know, right? The problem is we don't know until way after.
When you know better, you better.
Right? Then you're like, don't like you send me back and just give me like a little half of that information. Go ahead and do that differently. I don't know. It's one of those things of experience with life where it's like you don't understand until you understand. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't understand until you
punched in the face with it. And then you understand.
Right. And then when you understand, you're like, oh, that's the message.
Damn, that's the message.
That's a hell of a message, right?
That's a fact.
We talk about also early influences, right? So let's talk about the way you're dressed now, right? We talked about the job aspect, but people say show up how you want to be treated, right? Show up how you want to be treated. You walk and you carry yourself in a way that sends a signal telling people this is what how I want you to treat me. In a sense now, I'm pretty sure he's dressed and the people that he's around are dressed very formally, and you're also paying attention to that, right? So as you're growing up now, I could think that that's affecting your style and you understand what casual and what business is. And now, when you go to start to work in this role actively, I'm pretty sure at 10 years old, you was kind of dressed like that. You know what I mean? Like,
he said at 10 you said at 10 you was dressed like that.
I'm just saying. Some slacks in the shirt or something, right?
Yeah.
So am I off?
Even as going to school, elementary, I was one of the only kids that was in a suit outside.
There we go. The Reverend. Hold on. We are officially adding the title the Reverend.
The Reverend Honorable. The Reverend Honorable.
Reverend Honorable. And to commemorate, you know, we got to get a little. The Reverend Honorable K.D. Boone. Don't you forget Reverend in front of that. 10 years old, I was one of the only ones in the suit, homie.
Yeah. And at that time was funny. My grandmother actually tailored my suits.
Oh,
so I give it back to them. They did.
See,
I was like, that's fire. But
no, I'm telling you.
But what happened now? So boom. You also went to the sanitation department. What made you not get into the work directly? Because you know you also was working and stuff like that. So how did you get to it?
You mean as far as me becoming an elected official?
Yeah, absolutely. So like you started in sanitation, you was a firefighter. Like tell us getting into that. Like so after high school, you figuring it out. How'd you get into that work?
Before I started with sanitation, I worked at Mercy Hospital. I worked as a what you call a porter, janitor. I'm not ashamed of it. I worked I worked in the mornings, and then I went from there to work at nights, and I got that job through and by my grandmother, my aunt, because they worked at Mercy Hospital. My aunt's a nurse. My grandmother worked in housekeeping, so she just said my grandson needs a job. I went there. She knew the bosses; they loved her, and it was no problem, easy peasy. I filled out the application. They were like, "When can you start?" Said tomorrow. I had a job. After I got out and I worked there after I got out, I was working there while I was in school, a little bit while I had graduated, but then I was like, my mom was more money. So what could I do to make or facilitate more money? Now, I could have stayed there and worked there and kept the sanitation job, but I just chose, I was like, let me just work for the village and make that happen. So my father said, listen, fill out this application. And Mayor Gardner at the time, the mayor, my father, his right hand, said, listen, you want that job? I said, yeah. He said, no problem, fill this out. I walked right in and I had it full time. So I went from there.
He beat me to it.
I was still actually, at that time, I was DJing as well. I was doing a lot of stuff for Public Enemy at the time. And Chuck had me working on a lot of projects, but I was still, even then, from doing stuff in the studio with Chuck, PE, and whoever he may have had me working with him at the time, whether it's Nikki D or anybody else, Nikki D being the first female at Def Jam, and anybody else, I would then go from doing that to, okay, my father needs me to do this and get these signatures done and just keep it moving. So I kind of like try to keep that balance.
Fire. You're on mute.
I just, once again, we're talking work ethic. You're naming several jobs and several things that you're doing at once. Once again, at a very young age, right? At a very young age, because that's something that we struggle with too, right? Yeah, we have a good work ethic, but at a certain age points, we want to play, we want to party. That work ethic doesn't really kick in with different people until different times. So again, you're doing a bunch of things. But which one in that moment were you passionate about, like that one in that moment? Because you're doing a lot of different things, like let's say you're being a firefighter. That's one thing. That's something completely different than public office. That's something completely different than working in the music business. Right. All great jobs, but each one with a different passion for that actual field. So, how did you figure that out? Like, how were you doing 3 complete different things and was like, but this one is my passion?
Now, the fire department came through, I would say, years later. I was still working for the village. I wasn't working as that's the fire alarm going off.
Hey, I was like, hold on. I was bugging. I was like, hold on.
Find time for it to go off, right? And it's going off. But anyway.
The man. As soon as we start talking that talk.
But trust me, if it was really something that they would be knocking on the door and it goes off periodically, it happens. Gotcha. But as I was saying, I came into the fire department, I would say years later, still working for the village. At that time, I was something what they call the neighborhood aide. I would go out there and assist the police department with traffic, writing tickets, which is not the favorable thing to do. A lot of people frowned upon it. But I ran into the chief one night, and me and him were just happened to be in his office. I was actually eating lunch with the police chief, and he was mentioning that he was like, Kevin, I heard that you had were thinking about the fire department. So I said, yeah. So he's like, all right, get in the car, come with me. He took me over to fire department headquarters. I knew all the guys there primarily anyway. They knew me, knew my father. He said, well, Kevin is looking to join the fire department. They gave me the application, said, fill this out. We'll let you know when you got to come back for your next 3 meetings to go through the process. I did that, and next thing you know, I was in, and I've been in about now going on almost 30 years now.
Damn! Ooh. With the alarm going off too. What the other that shit?
And I can say I love every minute of it, because the thing is, it's about helping your people, your community. And at that time, I had a lot of family, still have a lot of friends in the community. My thing was, let me do something that I could be a benefit to give back. I also became an EMT. I've had to go to a lot of calls where it was my own family on the EMT side. I had to go into my mother's own sister's house for a working house fire on the fire department side, where I get to the house, I get there and I'm looking and I see all the cars in the driveway, and the house is fully involved. Mind you, I go through the house with my partner, who I was working with at the time. I didn't find anybody. I went, pulled the dog out, put the dog, attached the dog to the fence, then went back in, no gear, to see if my relatives were in that house from top to bottom. And by the time everybody got there, the chief was like, well, you shouldn't have did that, was looking to suspend me, and me and the chief were going at it in the front lawn until he found out it was my mother's sister's house, and he understood, and he was like, well, listen, don't do that anymore. Let's go about doing it the right thing, doing it the right way. I went, got my gear, and went back in the house and went in there to put that fire out. But mind you, thank God nobody was in the house.
Phew, thank God, man. That's wow.
I just, Kev, we got to talk about this, because at the age you are now and the experience that you are now, right? Did you ever stop to think, damn, I get jobs really fucking quickly? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it just so happens that I just always know a guy that knows a guy that just fucking
relationship.
Start tomorrow. We laugh at that, right? Because me and Cuzzo talk about, that's why we created this platform. We call it the cheat code. We feel like other races have that in place predominantly. That is the game. That is the play from birth. I'm gonna pass you off to this person. She's gonna give you opportunity, right? Starts with schooling in the right schools, right? Political schools, and then higher education that grooms you for internships, entry-level jobs, right into the big companies, and you're off to the races, right? That's what I'm talking about. We talk about creating the cheat code. And you've said like 3-4 times on the show that I don't know if you realize, like, you had the cheat code.
That's real.
Like, you had the cheat code. Like,
that shout out to the parents too, and the whole community having the cheat code. Most of us don't have that, so you shitting me?
Yeah,
that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been, I guess you could say I've been blessed in that sense, even with me being at one time I was the president of New Hempstead Democratic Club, where it was based on basically what I was doing in the community for the community, where I was tapped on the shoulder at that time to be the second vice president of the club. And I did that for a couple of years. And then I went right from second vice president all the way to becoming the president of the New Hempstead Democratic Club for about close to 10 years. So
that's real. Now, I want to get back to the story with the family and we also said in the intro that you helped volunteer with, after 9/11. What was that like from your perspective? I'm just curious. Like
that right there is something that you never forget. Every now and then I can't say that I don't have, dreams about what goes on or what happened there, because at that time I was there from the 12th, from September 12th. I was there for 3 days. I was there when Tower 7 fell. I was actually in the pit about good 60 feet deep when Tower 7 fell. and we were on ropes. I was down there with a cadaver dog, NYPD, FDNY, and one of my chiefs of the Hempstead. He's a chief now, sitting chief of the Hempstead Fire Department, and it was just us that were in that pit. So when 7 fell, it sounded like a massive, a lot of big boom, metal shifting. The cadaver dog, like barking its head off, and just a lot of confusion. The chief got on the radio and told us, "Find an air pocket, sit tight. We'll come and get you when we can." So we were all calming ourselves down because in my mind and in our minds, we weren't getting pulled out. In my mind, and honestly, I thought I was getting pulled out in the back, and that's being honest, because the rope went from being what they call taut, which is tight, to being like spaghetti. So when they're telling us, and it's smoky, dusty, you really can't see, we don't have any breathing apparatus, no mask, anything on, and we're trying to get our bearings, they pulled us out about an hour and a half later. And I actually kissed the ground when I got out. Now, they sat us down, we got something to eat, I'd say for a good maybe an hour, and then went right back into the pit.
Damn! What the hell make you go back? I gotta ask you. I know somebody's thinking it.
I'm fucking thinking it. Right, fuck, you ain't even gotta go far.
You know what?
This guy right here is thinking it.
We were there for a reason. One of the reasons was to go in there and find anybody that was trapped or may need help to get them out.
For sure.
It went from finding people trapped to actually finding body parts, putting them in buckets. And they told us if you found a body part, anything with a ring, a watch, a bracelet, don't touch it, put it in this big bucket. It would get sent up and they would use it to identify that person later.
Hell no, no.
No, that's crazy, yo.
So actually going back, it's just like you would say, why do we go running in fires when everybody's running out? It's what we do. It's what we're trained to do.
And great question, Doc.
That's
a
great
lot of fighters
question.
got sick from debris. Was your health affected in any way?
I'm not gonna knock on wood. We go to what we call 9/11 screening every year, and we sit through. This screening takes about 3 to 4 hours. It's not 1, 2, 3. They go over everything with us, from our health to blood, lab work, mental, mentally where we are. They talk to you for a while. They're taking blood, they're, everything, a full screening, your lungs. They give you a full workup from head to toe. And this is every year. Now they say, God forbid, if anything happens to you, or like you contract cancer, which nobody wants. Nobody wants to touch that 9/11 fund where you're paid for the rest of the time that you have here. That's some money that I never want to touch. So the only thing that I've had to deal with is, ever since I've been down to 9/11, is like a little tad bit of like asthma. Every now and then I have to use a pump. But if that's it, then I'll take that.
Man, thanks for your service, man. That like you said, going back, so you got to understand how we hear it, right? And so the listeners, right? So like it's like, yo, look, I got mom and pops, they still here. I went to school. I'm on a path, and then I risk it all, and then I almost had a traumatic experience, and I'm going right back in. That takes a certain type of mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I appreciate your service for that. That a lot of people can't do that. I don't know.
We don't think, when you're in the fire department, it's not thinking about yourself. You're thinking about the people that you're going there to help. So it's like every time I go in there to work, go into a working fire, I'm not thinking about me, because my thing is I lean on my training of what I was trained to do to get me in and get me out, along with my partners, whoever I may go on, the other firemen that are firefighters that I'm going in there with. We lean on what we're trained to do to get us in and get us out, and we depend on each other. So that's basically how that is.
You can, I know what you're gonna say, cousin, because you can relate to it.
Well, two things. I want to relate two ways. I want to say, it's a celebration. It's a celebration. I want to say two things. I actually have the honor of saying that two of my childhood friends, and I mean closest childhood friends, subsequently became firefighters, both of them, right? Two different times, two different houses. But when I think about what you just said, I think about their character in general and the type of people that they are in real life. And then for them to become firefighters makes perfect sense because you know how they act and how they carry themselves in real life. So to do something as selfless as become a firefighter, it just all makes sense, right? I was contemplating because I would say, like, I'm being honest with you, right? I could never be a firefighter, but then I'm like, but you was a Marine, motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, Sam,
what are you talking about? Like,
And that's a whole nother level in itself.
But it's
and thank you for your service.
Reverend Honorable Kev, it's different. I'm just saying it's different.
So I got to ask you both, right? Like, you have training. You're a trained specialist at this. You're the best in the world at this, right? But when you go into a mission, are you really willing to die for that mission? Because, like, that, it might sound crazy, but that is like, I could be trained. It's like cool, but like,
okay. Well, let me answer that first. Let me answer that first. So, whenever there's in Marine Corps boot camp and things of that nature, before you finish the boot camp, you have to sign off like next of kin and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Also, at the time that I went in, if you're in boot camp, anytime where there's a conflict where you could possibly go right to the conflict, they check your family lineage. So for me being the only son from my mother, I had to actually sign a waiver saying that I'm okay to go overseas, because if I die, then technically my lineage dies off because I'm the only one that carries the last name, right? Because if females carry the last name, but if they get married, they lose the last name, right? So when you ask a question like that, I signed a waiver in boot camp. It's actually they did it as a trick, but what it did was it separated the people that you seen was ready and wasn't, right? So as we're doing this exercise, we're just learning, and they come running down the hall and start whispering at each other, right? And then they go, listen, we're going to fast track your boot camp. You guys are going to the Middle East. You understand? You're going to be done in 7 days. Fill out your next of kin paperwork right now and your vouchers. It's no harm, no foul, but whoever doesn't want to go, move to this side of the room. Whoever wants to go, move to this side of the room. And you've seen the people move. And I just want to say, yeah, I feel bad for the people that moved. It wasn't a good day for you after that, or probably because you got punished and your squad got punished the entire week. But, so I just say that to say this, right? I think any military member understands the risk, Jarrett, of signing up with the government and understanding if there's a conflict, you can possibly get sent into a danger zone.
And it's the same thing with the fire department. You know what you're signing up for. Mind you, I will say this. Not everybody that joins the fire department is interior. Not everybody goes in. So, especially from, I would say, on a volunteer, or say with the volunteer service as a whole. You would think that everybody that joins the fire department actually goes in, but everybody joins for different reasons. Some people may join because they think this is a little country club and I can go and hang out at the firehouse all the time. That's what some people may do. I'm not saying all, but then you have some people that is really in them where they say that, listen, they may have came up in the fire service through their father, their mother, their uncle, their aunt, whomever it may be. Because back then in the fire service, it was basically families that were heavily involved in the fire department. I can remember even with the Hempstead Fire Department, Talentos, Simones, you name them, they were there. The Noonans. And shout out to the Hempstead Fire Department, one of the best fire departments in Nassau County, hands down. That's a fact. We're known for being very aggressive. But when it comes down to that, when I came into the fire department,
we gotta give you some love. We gotta let it marinate.
But when it comes down to the fire department, our fire department is known for being very aggressive as to why we get called, even outside of or for mutual aid purposes, to go and help out other departments, as we were also called from 9/11. And at that time, the Mayor James Gardner, said, listen, if you guys don't want to get on those trucks, I don't blame you. You don't have to go. We said, we'll see you when we get back. And we got on them trucks and we went out to Manhattan, out to Ground Zero. We actually went out there. We had a military escort. Never forget it. Straight out to Ground Zero. Because we went out there with guys that were trained in whether it was confined space, wherever it was that was needed, we had the guys to facilitate getting that done.
Mm. Yeah, that's
That's what I'm saying. Like
Mendy, yo.
yeah, man. You know, thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
I know people say it to military members a lot, but I'm gonna say it to you. Thank you for your service, because you know that honestly takes a level of courage and selflessness that some people might not have in that moment. Real talk. You know what I mean?
Another thing, we don't get paid.
Right.
There's no money when it comes down to that. Now,
Mama Pain.
And they don't even validate your parking. Like, you don't even. At least you get a plaque. Do you get a plaque?
When you retire, there's something called you get a little something toward the end of your retirement. It gives you, I say, it's gas money. You may get, some departments get more than others, where you get something toward the end of your retirement, and that's it. But it's what you get out of here, seeing that you're helping and getting that you're helping people. You understand? Now, also being a volunteer with the training that you're getting. Let's say you become an EMT. You got that New York State certification. You can take that New York State certification and get a job anywhere.
Makes sense.
So New York State, Hempstead Fire Department is looked at. This is not to harp on us. We're looked at as far as the New York, and even FDY guys talk about how good Hempstead Fire Department and how aggressive we are in our apartment, and the fact that we get the fires that we do.
But wait, do you listen? You got to listen to what he's saying, though.
It's a lot. Yeah.
All he said is because we get the fires that we do. Like that. You got to think about the stunt that he just said. He was like, "You don't call us for no 2-alarm, man." he talking with his chain like, "Don't call us for no 2-alarm." You know what we do? The 4 or 5 alarms are better than we.
If it ain't MOP, I don't want it.
Yeah, in a sense, he's screaming Brooklyn. Like, you know what I'm saying? Big Bronx, not the little one. If you call us for a 1-alarmer, we're gonna slap you when we can. We're gonna walk away. Are you kidding me? Like,
no, Hempstead is known for being very aggressive.
Yeah.
When we go there, we do what we do and we don't play.
Let me ask you a question. Have you and I know that you saved this, you looking for your family relatives, when you kicked in the door and things of that nature, right? Have you ever been in a moment, right? And we talk about selflessness because you're not thinking about yourself, but have you ever been in a moment other than that one where you helped save a family or something like that, or like a child, right? And after that happened, like that child embraced you and kind of like gave you everything that you needed right there with just saying thank you, or, even if it wasn't a child, but, children hit different. But if a person just came up to you and said, thank you, like you saved my life, right? And kind of gave you the validation of this is why I do it. You know what I mean? Have you ever had that?
He manufactured the whole story. That was a good question, but he manufactured the whole story. So if it happens,
there's been some. I'll say this: it wasn't a house fire, but it was a good friend of mine. All right, it was a rescue call, and I just happened to be in the vicinity, and it was my friend's mother, and it was a call for an unresponsive female. Now, you don't know what you're going to come across when you get there. I got there, and my good friend Shamelo Durant, who actually did Put Your Hands Where Your Eyes Can See for Buster, may he rest in peace. It was his mom, and they were sitting there shaking her. I went, checked her carotid artery, no pulse. I checked her radial artery, no pulse. I then got on the phone. I called what we call fire alarm, let them know what I had, let them know that I was going to start CPR, and I did that. I actually brought her back before the ambulance got there. And then on top of that, I think she lived 7 days. They had 7 more days with their mother. Along with their father, they had 7 more days with her. And then later on, she passed away. But they constantly remind me that they're like, Kevin, you gave us 7 more extra days with our mom. So that stuck with me. And, there's a lot of other things that I've done that not to harp on me, that I've gotten no credit for. And I didn't do it for the credit. You go and you do what you do to save, be there to be a help to people. It's not to get a plaque on the wall, because if that's what you join for, then you join it for the wrong reasons.
baby. That's real. Damn, that was a hell of a story. Yeah, damn. I'm like, this your first podcast? Sure?
Yeah, but I'm just saying though, like
that was a hell of a story.
You know, it's a testament to his character.
Absolutely.
So now I'm starting to see why you're starting to choose things that seem like they have nothing in common, but they have a lot in common, right? The firefighter, you're giving of yourself. You know, you wanna serve the people. You know, you go into the political aspect and things of that nature. Again, you're giving of yourself and you're like, this is what I want to do. So now I'm starting to see the pattern. There is a pattern in all the jobs that you're picking. You're picking things where you can be of service to your people and your community. Again, learn behavior, ladies and gentlemen. We talk about it on the show all the time, right? This is why this show exists. This is why we have guests phenomenal like this, so that you can keep hearing the stories and understand this is what success looks like from people that grew up in places like us. If we keep hearing it more, we'll act differently. We act differently, we get different results, right? We got to change. You know what I'm saying? You're on mute, cuz.
I said that's a fact though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Shit, I'm like, where do we go now? I'm like, that is a lot of spots I wanna, you know what I mean?
We can go into, you know, why you decided to pivot, you know, and now make your primary thing, you know, a man of the people and you know, going into the political side and things of that nature, if you want to go there.
Now, with me, I've always, even with being, I will say, the president of New Hempstead Democratic Club for the
Right.
time that I have, even during the time of COVID, I was out there for everybody. It wasn't about being Republican or Democratic, because my thing was everybody needed help. You know, I had a lot of people on the Dem side that were mad at me because they were like, "Why are you using our resources to help them?" And I was like, "Well, them are people. Those people, you know, they bleed like we all bleed the same. Everybody needs help at this point. So at this point, I was like, I could care less what you think. I'm going to take these resources and they're going to help everybody, whether you like it or you don't." And I did. I went out and I took, like Senator Kevin Thomas at the time, who was a sitting senator before he even got elected. And when he got elected at that time, I had him going out with me with masks, hand sanitizer, food, you name it, whatever it was that people needed, from apartment building, from a senior buildings to everywhere else, just giving people what they needed to facilitate their needs at that time. And if they couldn't get a meal, we facilitated having something dropped off at somebody's door and rang the doorbell for them to come and get it so that they could have something to eat. So it was about doing for the people. It wasn't about Democrat or Republican, where people have to get away from that. We are all people. It's just like what everybody's going through right now, what they're going to be going through once they lose this the SNAP benefits come November 1st. So I'm like, what are you doing? You have to go out here and be that elected official for everybody. I'm a proud Democrat, don't get me wrong. But my thing is to go out here and be of service to everybody, whether it be the people that voted for you, the people that did not. Be of service to everybody. That's your job. And if you can't do that, then you're in the seat for the wrong reason.
But how do you navigate that, right? When there's people who think like that, and then people thinking like you who think the right way, and you still have to navigate it because once again, it's politics. How do you know what I'm saying? Some people might be bigger ranked that might think that way, seeing you there, it might have had a negative effect, right? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Now, I've come across some people, I would say, like the chairman of the Democratic Party. You know, he could be a nice guy, but he would come to me regarding some things, and if I didn't feel like doing it, I just told him the answer is no. And you know, and they knew that with me. I was a straight shooter. If they asked me to go out here and walk with a certain person, and I knew that their character wasn't of that, or they even gave a doggone about the community, you wouldn't see me walking up and down the street, knocking on the door, co-signing for anybody that I knew wasn't going to do or be a detriment to the community or work in the capacity that they say they're going to do. So, in knowing that, I would tell them straight up, that's nice, but the answer is no. And they knew that, you know, there was no change in my mind. I'm not beholden to you. I'm not looking to you for a job. You're not paying anything or any bills or anything for me. And I'm gonna move the way I want to move, which is going to be to the benefit of the people. And that's it.
I mean,
That's right.
it's the truth. It's just a lot of times it's just the unspoken truth, right? We are people. At the end of the day, we have a lot more in common than we don't, right? And I don't want to get on the political bandwagon, or political, excuse me, let's say my political soapbox rather. But at the end of the day, hold on, let's see what Hayes said.
He went political, so we gotta. Andrew
Yeah,
Cuomo just said there's a divide in the Democratic Party between moderate and far left Democrats. Believe that to be true?
Again, yeah.
Well, let him in. Let's see. How do you feel about that?
I mean, there's nothing that you can do. You just got to be. You have to be your own person. You be your own person in your own lane.
That's it.
As far as you have to deal with people on the right and the left. You got to deal with Republicans on the across the aisle. You got to be able to work with these guys, or you have to be able to, these young ladies, whomever they may be. So you may come to terms where you may have to say, you know what, I'll do this for you. You make sure you do that. This is how that works. But if you're not going to be willing to reach across the aisle to get those things done, then you're doing another disservice to your constituents.
That's real too.
Long story short, it's all a ploy. The more we argue, it doesn't matter. We're arguing almost everything right now. Republican, Democrat, right? White, black, gay, straight. You understand what I'm saying? Trans. We're arguing everything. All that's doing is putting a bigger and bigger space in the divide of us as people. We're not united at all. I think that is the biggest play of politics right there, to keep us so divided that we are not really paying attention to what is really happening in this world. And what we're slowly doing is losing a lot of our rights, a lot of our heritage, you understand, a lot of our history, because we are so confused on all the other things that they're throwing in front of us to distract us. That's what I was getting to. Like, it's all bullshit.
Yeah, it is also a distraction, but just like I tell people, you got to understand the people at the top, the party leaders, most of the time they're going on vacation together. Their wives go shopping together. They have these backdoor meetings that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
And they're making their own deals. Or you give me this, I'll take that. I know my guy over here, young lady's going to lose. So we'll do this. We'll give you this. While everybody else is sitting there over there arguing and going at each other's throats. They've already made the back deals in the back room because they already know what it is. So when two people figure this out, it's like you can look it out. I'll tell everybody. And I had a conversation with somebody today. I said, have you looked at our local election? And as you look at the local election, you'll see on the ballot where some people are crossing doors. Ask yourself why. I could say this: when I ran against the incumbent mayor who was a Democrat, I'm a Democrat, the Republicans didn't run anybody. Why? You understand what I'm saying? So you sometimes you have to sit back and look at the bigger picture, and then you'll figure it out.
A lot of people don't see that bigger picture.
Then I just say that, right? You're not paying attention to the bigger play. Yeah. And unfortunately, we talked about this on the other show. It's like, when is enough, right? How much are we going to let happen to us that just keeps putting us in a worse space, before we break? When is the break? When is the, okay, I've taken all I can and stands and I can't stands no more, right? That's the problem. And the longer that we are uneducated, the longer that we don't have these resources to learn about certain things, a lot of people don't know about the smaller elections, right? They know about the big ones, right? The mayor and, let's say, the president, right? The mayor and the president. But what about your local elections?
Well, the mayor is.
You understand what I'm saying? Like the different smaller elections that happen that you don't realize have just as much impact, because they help legislate the local laws in your counties and all that stuff like that. So that's what I'm saying.
But I also put it back on them too, though, because we don't never see them in the community. It's consumer education.
That is true,
right?
too.
It's consumer education. We are the constituents, right? So you should want us to know exactly what your power is, what you can do, what have you done in the neighborhood. Because of this decision we did, this park was built. Word? Okay, cool. You know, I can see that, but that's not
Absolutely.
being happening. At least that's not happening in my neighborhood.
Well,
I say that
people
right
have
now.
to understand that your local elections, which affect you the most, of what counts. Everything starts local. So if the people that are running only come around when it's election time, this is the only time that you see them. That should be a red flag to you. Why you even consider voting for them? Where have they been the other, let's say, 300? Where were they last year? How come they're just coming to your church now? How come they're just talking to you in the grocery store now when they've seen you X amount of times and never said hello to you? Never stopped to even have a conversation with you. But then now, right now, in this moment, because they need your vote, now they're going to come and have that conversation with you because they need your vote.
Message.
Come on.
Wait,
That's
before you go any further, but you know the answer, and you know why they do that? Because it works. You know why it works? Because when people lock in, most times, I'm a Republican, then you're Republican all the way. If you're Democrat, you're Democrat all the way, right? It's a very rare thing that I've seen that, you know, on your local elections, you're Democrat, but on the bigger national elections, or, you know what I mean? You're Republican, and you're switching like that, right? And in some ballots, when you look at the ballot, it says if you're voting like Democrat or you're voting Republican, it's the whole, you can't do. So once again, right? So once again, why is it engineered that way where you can't do both? And then why do you think people don't, you know, go back and forth? Because you might get information to change your ideology about what your party's doing in the moment and say this is the actual better candidate. There you go.
Well, see, I look at myself, and not to harp on myself, when I ran for mayor the last time, I actually beat the mayor in his own backyard, in his own neighborhood. And when I started, I went out there and I knocked on every door. I walked and I knocked, when I say every door, every door. I walked every neighborhood in the village of Hempstead about maybe 2 to 3 times over the whole village. And I knocked on the doors and I had conversations with the people, whether they were Republican, Democrat, Independent, didn't matter. And a good part of the people in his around in his neighborhood that were Republican all voted for me. And a lot of them said this would be the first time they ever voted for a Democrat, ever. Now, even when it came down to that, there was one section that had a little something going on, a little issue in their neighborhood. I told them, I was like, I'll come back and I will come back with the people that can solidify and deal with this issue. I did this in 2 areas. Both times people said, yeah, right, you're going to come back. I came back. I knocked on this young lady's door, said, hello, how are you? I said, I'm back. And she looked at me. She was like, she just had a look of disbelief. But when I came back with the people that I knew that could rectify that problem. And they did for that situation. Then I had another situation where we call Hempstead on the Heights. It was a situation where it was raining heavily. The block got flooded. I went there. I called up, had DPW come out, drain the whole block, pump the water out. And residents came to me and was like, we're tired of this area getting flooded. What's going to be what's going to happen? We're tired of people giving us lip service. So I said again, I will come back. I will be back here on Monday, but when I come back, I'm coming back with the people that I know that can rectify this. I came back Monday before the summer was over. That area was rectified. They got what they call deep dish sewer drains that could hold more of a capacity for water. And then we put a couple of drains in some other places where they had no drains. Now, guess what? That area no longer floods. So now, did I do what I say I was going to do? Yes, I did. Now, did I catch some flack from the mayor and some other people after they found out after the fact of what I had did? But my thing was, I didn't care. I did it for those residents.
Hold on. Why would you catch flack for helping a neighborhood stop flooding? Why would you catch flack from that?
Because it wasn't him who did it.
It's all the look. Why are you going to do it when I should be doing it? But I don't want to do it, so I don't want you doing it. Because guess what? You'll take my seat.
Well, yeah, it was coming down to that because it was even with me being in the fire department when I first became that elected official. He was like, "You're no longer allowed to go into any calls, drive any trucks," and I was like, "Who are you?" I was like, "That's nice, but I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing because you're not my boss." And then there's a lot of people that didn't understand, but they were like, well, he's the mayor. I was like, yeah, he's the mayor, but he has one vote like I have. He has one vote like I have. I was elected just like he was elected. He's not my boss. He's just the mayor. He's a CEO of the village. You have to give him that. But no, he's not my boss. I was like, you know who my boss is? You, the constituent that voted for me or didn't vote for me. You are my boss. I answer to you.
Message.
I was gonna give you another one of this.
This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking.
He's good. He's good. He's good. I've heard talk to a couple politicians. but that is the problem right there with itself. We touched on it earlier, right? It's like you're doing the things for the right reasons. You're doing all that. There's no attribution. You're really just taking a bet on yourself and saying, hey, if I touch the people, then the people are gonna vibe with me and they're gonna vote for me, and I'm gonna make the changes happen that are necessary. But there's already backdoor meetings that are occurring. So you can do all that work technically and still not have the outcome that you desire. And that's the hard part.
It happened with me when I ran. I didn't get the outcome that I wanted, and I know why. I'm not going to go that deep into it, but I know why. At that time, I also didn't have the financial backing to go to fight it in court, because you're talking about just the start of maybe a good $10,000 to lay out for my attorney to go back and fight this for months in court, where I didn't have that money. And he was like, Kev, once you run again, we'll come back to fight another day. I know what I have to do. So certain things you got to let go, but you just keep that in your head. Moving forward, you know what to do. You move different.
That's right too.
Yeah, I just, once again, right, understanding that you are doing a thing. And this thing is, once again, giving of yourself, right? Let's talk about your mental state, right? Because people don't often talk about that. Guess what? There's a fund for 9/11 for people that get sick. So we're talking physical illnesses, cancer, and all the other, things that those carcinogens caused, right? Physical, if you pass away from physical ailments. But where's the compensation fund for the mental trauma? Like you said, that you're pulling out pieces of dead human beings that was somebody's family that went to work, et cetera, trying to provide for their family. And this is what you're doing, right? Like you said, with the slack and the rope and the hole, right? Mental trauma. You got over it, you went back, but it's still trauma. Where's the fund for that, right? So a lot of the times we're focusing too much here on the physical, but we're not thinking about the mental.
The mental is everything.
And you're right, but right now, honestly, to my knowledge, there isn't one for any type of any type of mental or how could you say it? Anything that happened mentally, emotionally scarred, anything else, there's nothing there for that. They tell you that they could provide you somebody to talk to, but I'll say, yeah, they'll provide you somebody to talk to. But as far as there being anything financially that they'll do, or any helping you out with monies, anything of that nature, if you say get to the point where you're mentally incapacitated, you can't work, there's nothing there.
Right.
That's crazy.
See, right there, right? That's a perfect example.
You need to go through the politics. You need somebody. You need to talk to a do this and do that. And I'm hearing these stories from the people, right? I feel like I can't help. There's certain stories that I can't help.
Yeah.
How does that affect you, right? Like it's all of those things, right? Certain things like I don't got the plug for that. I really don't know who does that.
Well, my thing is, if there's something that I myself cannot do or cannot facilitate, I will always go out of my way to find out who can. And I'm relentless like that. I will go and I will make the phone calls to whatever senator, legislator, whoever I need to talk to find out who can help to facilitate this person's needs, because I give it back to them. I'm like, listen, these are your constituents too. And I'm like, I'm not doing this where you have to even mention my name. Just do what you need to do for them. I don't care if you don't mention my name. I'm not looking for an attaboy. My thing is take care of the residents, the constituent, and give them what it is that they need. Help them out. Again, you don't have to mention my name. You don't have to say nothing about Kevin came up here and made this call on your behalf. Just help these people out.
I got a question for you. Do you think that people nowadays are in the political fog of understanding what's going on based on the fact that in educational systems there is no class or studies on politics in almost any stage of your educational system until you get to college? I don't know elementaries that teach politics unless you go to now these newer satellite schools that might say politics and government, etc., where you can focus in on that. But in the educational system in general, if you're talking about preparing us for something, how do you not prepare people for to look, early voter registration and then voter registration? This is the same thing we talk about the financial stuff, right? Being able to get a credit card before being taught what financial management is. So early voter registration, but zero political classes on why should I vote? Why should I choose a certain political party? Why, you understand, what are my values? What's important? Where's the education in that? Right? Do you think that it's a product of the educational system to deliberately not prepare us so that by the time we can vote, we don't even know what we're doing?
Well, I'll say this: coming up as a kid, I'm gonna take you back, and maybe you may or may not remember this. Some people may have. There was something called Schoolhouse Rock, where there used to be conjunction junction. What's your function? Like I said, you guys didn't grow up with that.
Nah, it rhymed. I feel it.
No. Wait. I got the conjunction junction.
Stuff like that. We grew up with that. So you kind of understood certain things, but not to the degree of anything else past that.
Yeah. The fine print we ain't going into.
Unless you go to college and then you're taking political science courses because you're looking to get into that. But outside of, it's all about being in, I would say, being in the know and being around people that are collectively thinking like that and moving in that direction that you want to go into. And sometime even getting into those circles, it's not easy to get into those circles in a political realm because not everybody's going to let you in. They'll use you for what they want to use you for, or they'll let you in to say, okay, we need you to go out here and door knock and get these signatures, collect these signatures for us, and that's as far as you go. They'll say, then, they may have it where some people, if they go out there and get a certain amount of signatures faithfully all the time, if something comes up where this person can get a job, they may get a job. Whether it may be part-time or full-time, they'll help them to get a job and facilitate, but everybody doesn't get that.
Yeah, facts.
But
let's talk through the process though, bro. Because there's a lot of people, like you said, mindset. You're not even you can do all the right things, still not get in. So if there's a kid right now, somebody with a kid that's like want to get into politics, what is step one? How do you get that process started?
I would say go out there and reach out to your honestly, talk to the elected officials. Tell them what you would like to do. There are a lot of internships that people can do even during the summer where they can work for different municipalities, whether it be in legal, wherever the case it may be, judges and everything else, where you can work underneath them or how can you say, intern underneath them to get some of that knowledge. But if you don't knock on that door to ask, then you'll never know. But like I said, with me coming up and being, like I said, the president of New Hempstead Democratic Club for the time that I always took people under the wing. And I was like, listen, I don't have a problem when I go out here to do anything. Come out here with me, walk. I'll show you everything that you need to know. Where you can watch how I talk to people, everything, how I dress, because you got to inspect what you expect. If they're not going to take you seriously, if you don't come to them a certain way or carrying yourself in a certain manner. As a joke, as what I tell people, you may not have to be suited down, but let's say put on some nice khakis, a button-down shirt, a polo, whatever the case may be. Carry yourself professionally, and let's go out here, and I'll show you how to do this all day, every day.
I like it. But I just want to say something with the politics. I just want to say end. I don't want to say a but or just end. I think the new age of the young people that is going to get into politics is going to be the person that actually puts a spotlight on the problems going on. It's a popularity contest. The person who got the presidency is a popularity contest. He had a bigger brand than the next person. So for what I would say to the next young person is, if it's something is near and dear to your heart and your community, you want to change something, shine a light on it. Media, content, make sure you actually show it. There's a way. You guys have creativity through the roof. Show it. It's going to be that person, because you might not have to even knock on the door. If you get hot enough and people in the neighborhood know that you're doing it for the right reasons, guess what? They're going to knock on your door.
Well, these kids are outpacing us anyway, especially our youth when it comes down to social media, as you know, on that level and any level. They're 100% better at that than I am. You know, I'll never say that. No, they're 100% better. And you're right. When it comes down to things that are true and dear to their heart, I would say start there, start that movement, and get that momentum behind you, and just keep going. Don't stop, because the minute you stop, you lose that consistency, you lose that drive, that momentum that you had. Just keep going. It's like that rock that's going downhill. It'll keep building and building up till it becomes that boulder and steamrolls over everybody.
But I feel like we are skipping integral steps. Once again, because we have like brain fog to this, we're missing the initial picture. You can go to work legally at 14, correct? Somebody made that law, right? Somebody made that law. You can go to work at 14. So if we work summer youth programs and we go to work at 14, every dollar that they take out of your check, taxes, somebody made that law. Once again, you are putting us to work. You are putting us to work, saying that we are now able to earn revenue for ourselves and the city and the state, the government. But you haven't taught us why these laws are in place for us to give up this type of money. You haven't taught us why we're able to work at 14, and why not 15? Why not 13? This is what I'm saying. And we have to change the educational systems to start teaching a curriculum where the same way you're teaching these other things, we're not going to talk about the other things. You know what I'm talking about. Look how quickly they implemented all these new programs. You know what I'm talking about, right? That's so important now to teach our youth in these not even middle school ages, preschool ages, right? The regular elementary school ages, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Why is this not as important? Why is politics not as important?
1,000% correct, bro.
Because so they don't want us to understand this is, and if we never understand,
is out there though, bro. Like, and the information is out there. If you want it that bad, that's what we got to teach.
I'll say this: I've been at enough meetings on a village level, and even on a county level, state level too, where I've been surprised at the amount of kids, young people, that have came to those meetings and asked the questions that they did. And I was sitting there like in amazement, but also clapping, because I'm like, more of them need to come to these meetings and speak their piece.
No, and I can agree to that. But let's talk about the reality of learning a thing. How do you learn a thing? You are introduced to a thing that you experience. You learned what you learned because your family provided an experience for you, right? So if I'm telling you that, and if I'm wrong, please correct me. If I'm telling you that I don't know an educational system that is providing any type of political education to any young youth, for those kids that understand the political climate and things of that nature, that's their parents, like your parent. Somebody has to be teaching them that, for them to understand at least the foundation for them to get curious enough to go forward and come and ask these questions. That's what I'm talking about. But guess what? If your father does not provide the experience for you, not to say you can't get it later, you don't get it when you get it, how you get it, right? But your father had to understand the experience first. A lot of our issues is adults don't understand. So if you don't understand something, how could you possibly teach it to the youth or the next generation coming behind us?
You can't, like, I'll say this: your parents can only take you as far as what
there we go.
Allow
there we
them to
go.
get. So it's not they can teach you how to go to school, get good grades, go find that good government job, get the benefits.
Thank you,
retire.
Thank you.
That's what they can only teach you, what they know. They're not going to sit there and teach you about what to do with the dollar, the rule of 72. They're not going to teach you any of that unless they know it. They're only going to teach you up to what they know. So can you knock your parents? Can you knock what you've been taught as a kid coming up? No, but it's up to you. I say after you get to a certain age, and like after you get up to a certain age, you know better, you do better. You should have to go out there and seek some of those things out for yourself.
There we go.
To do that. And there's a lot of grassroots organizations that you can tap into that will go and school you on a lot of what we've discussed here on a political level. But if you don't tap into them, because they're there, but if you don't reach out to find out who they are and who the go-to people are in those organizations, the only person you can blame is actually the person that's looking at you just in the mirror is you.
I cannot agree with that. I cannot agree with that, because if politics is one of the most important things in a person's life, wherever you live, right? The government and how they govern you as a society is one of the most important. How is that not fundamentally something that's taught in the educational system? If it's something that important,
but if it's that important, we should seek it too.
But how do you seek?
Two things can be right.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong, Cuzzo. What I'm saying is, how do you know what to seek if you don't know what you're looking for? And by the time you figure it out, let's talk realism.
I'm with you.
By the time that you understand really politics is the end of high school, right? High school going into college, right? So look how many years you've wasted already of your education. You understand? Then you expect somebody to play catch up now?
There's not no pre-K books on how to be the president. And you can be the president. This is how you do it.
And what is the president? And why is he important? Right? Stuff like that, Cuzzo.
Basic stuff. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll say this.
Thank you.
You look at this political landscape that we're in right now, which is unprecedented on a lot of different levels. There's a lot of things that are going on that shouldn't be going on. So how do you prepare yourself for that? Because like I said, none of this stuff or the things that are going on that shouldn't be happening, there is no rule book for that. They said our forefathers have set laws and guardrails in place to prevent certain things from happening. A lot of those guardrails are getting pushed and demolished to the side because they're letting Trump have his way. Now, did any of us see this coming? Our forefathers did. Is why the reasons they put these in place. But the whole political landscape is changing right in front of our faces right now. So it's like, how do you get prepared for something that ain't even supposed to happen? Because the whole rule book is being changed right in front of our faces every single day. Every day. That's why you have Representative Jasmine Crockett and everybody else up in arms about what's going on. And now she's being redistricted out of her own area. If that map goes through, she's redistricted out of her area, and the chances of her getting voted back in for Congress are zero. Now, all the people in those areas in Texas that had representation through them by her, no longer, because of what's being done now. So, like to say, the rules of engagement have changed, and they're changing every day. But if we don't go out there and, like Obama says, don't boo, vote. If you don't go out there and vote, to vote the right people into office and to fight certain things and to stand up for these narratives, we are all in trouble.
I got a question for you, though. I want you to think about this. I'm glad you said that. You said we're in an unprecedented state right now, and the person that's in power, let's use the word in power, is changing all the rules. Then you said our forefathers created the rules. Think about what you're saying, though. The same type of people, forefathers, that created the rules were in power. We weren't in power then. So the rules were created while we weren't in power. Now somebody else, very similar, who's in power is recreating the rules. What's the difference? It's the same exact message. The people in power do what they want to do, and the people that are not in power have to suffer the consequences of it. It's the same exact thing at a completely different time. What's different?
Well, I'll say this. The guardrails were put up there in place to prevent certain things from happening. So, like, in case of a president like Trump ever came up, he should not be able to do the things that he's doing. We have the United States Supreme Court that's supposed to go and be in line with all of those things that are, the Supreme Court is being controlled by who? Trump. Everybody's scared of this man. So when it comes down to it, there are no guardrails. Guardrails are gone. So where's our protection? All the things that we've had that regard all the progress we made as a people is being rolled back. Voters' rights and everything else. Where are the guardrails? The guardrails are gone. So now what do? We still have to depend on our elected officials and the people that are there in office, like Jasmine Crockett and everybody else, to continue this fight. But they can't do it alone. So it's the community and the government as a whole, the other elected officials coming together and having their back to continue this fight. Because this is going to be an ongoing fight. Because if you think that it's going to get any better from where we are now, you're kidding yourselves. It's not.
That's a fact.
They're taking books out of schools that the kids can't even read no more, where you can't even really know about your history. Why?
I want to get to the comment you put up, Cuzzo, because we got a comment for YouTube. Al said you can't prepare for changes that you have no power over, right? If they don't follow the rules, but the rest of us are expected to, there's nothing that can be done. They are allowing all of this. What do you have to say? Yeah, that's Al. Shout out to Al. What do you have to say in response to that?
He's right.
Okay.
He's 100% correct. I'm not. There's no disputing that. Like I said, look at what's going on now. But the thing is, like I said, the scary part is knowing that this man is looking to stay there and rerun in 28. So we have to come together as a people and come together out there in numbers. Yeah, they're gonna try every trick in the book to discourage you from voting. Every trick in the book. But it's going to be up to us to continue to go out there and to stand our ground no matter what, and not leave that voting area until you voted.
Yeah, I just wanted to say it's politicians are some of the worst marketers in the world, and the best marketers are the best politicians. You know what I'm saying? That's why he is who he is. That's why the mayor of New York City, right? He's run a flawless campaign. He's about to win just off of what he's done on social media, straight up and down. So like, I just want people, we're going to say like, yo, we need the education, but it's also up to us to educate the people. We have to sit there and go and be like, yo, look, this is why you need, this is why it's important, this is why it is. And we get the numbers, we get the masses, then the change happens. But sometimes we don't even know. It's like a vote. You say, go out and vote. It's like your taxes. I don't know where my fucking tax dollars go to.
See?
I don't know my fucking taxes. And I'm just being honest.
Keep going.
I don't know where it's going to. Is it fixing a bridge? Is it paying this? Is it doing that? All I know is shit is fucked up where I'm from.
Right.
Oh, I would say when it comes down to that.
Wait, before you answer, Rev, Honorable Kev, and how long have you been working collectively since you were able to work to now?
I started, you talking about?
No. Cuzzo, how long have you been working now?
I've been working since 14.
Okay. How old are you now?
I'm 37.
You understand what I'm saying? Look at the work history and then look at what he just said. And at the age that he is now, with that type of work history, he still doesn't understand. You see? When we talk about transparency, You want to be a good politician? Let's start with that. Like Cuzzo said, say, this is the fund. This is exactly why we take this money. And this is exactly where the money's going to. So people can see.
We got to see it. We got to see it. We got to see it, bro.
Okay, there's my money in action. There's my money in action. But you listen, let's just talk about city life. What's one of the biggest things that people argue and fight about every day? MTA, right? The transit system. Somehow, some way, that fucking price has never come down. It keeps going up. But the service, holy shit, the service is getting worse and worse. So the money's going up, but where's the money go? This is why people are angry. People are furious about this, and
they start thinking like, it don't matter what I do, the decision has already been made for me.
There it is. And guess what?
And that's the problem.
You can answer this. Remember, Reverend Honorable Kev, you don't pay taxes, they take taxes. You don't pay taxes, they take. They get their money for you get your goddamn money.
That's a fact.
Yeah. They get their money for you get your goddamn money. And you the one that put in the work any type of hours, any type of day of the week, any type of condition. They got their money before you able to get your money.
Message.
Now we
what I'm
party now. We party now, y'all.
Like, I just want to be, because I want to be real.
That's
you,
real.
You wonder why so many urban kids that get in trouble and all that is because we don't understand and we don't have education on so many different possibilities of anything that we can be other than what we are seeing right in front of our face. So if we see a bunch of sports people, we're gonna go to a sports. If we see if our neighborhood is doing music, we're gonna be musicians. If our neighborhood is playing basketball or into that with drug dealing, hustling, the data shows that. The data shows that because we are becoming the only thing that is prevalent or dominant in our neighborhoods. But if you change that, if we see more politicians or educational institutions or places where we can understand job training and careers early in life, then I guarantee you would see a shift in how many of us get in trouble, how many of us end up being repeat offenders and end up being a part of the correctional system and then taking our voting rights away because guess what? See, they don't teach you that, right? That's something they don't teach you in school. Get in trouble. Can't vote on the laws that govern you because you got in trouble. This is what I'm talking about.
No, we're going to get in trouble.
Come on. No, we're going to get in trouble because we have nothing else to do because this is the environment that we're placed in. What do you expect us to do? What do you expect us to do?
True indeed. But I'll say this as an elected official, whether you're looking to run, if you're sitting elected official, it's up to you to have those town hall meetings with your constituents and meet them where they are. You know, if you have to go and have a town hall meeting in that park, you go and do it, wherever it may be. But while you're out here, you're connecting with your constituents, and you have to let them know what it is and be truthful, and know that every conversation may not go the way you want it to, but like I tell people, you may not like what I'm gonna say to you, but I'm gonna tell you the truth.
There you go.
I respect it.
And I've always been that way. I stay that way. And I'm like, listen, this is why this has happened, and this is where the money went. I've always explained that as an elected official. I have. So like I said, speaking for myself, I've always done that. I've always been transparent. My integrity speaks for itself as a person, as who I am, a testament to who I am. I'm not going to sit there and lie to you and tell you something that you want to hear as an elected official. I'm not going to do that.
So we're going to get it late. You're going to Mari Stoudemire this thing, right? So if there's one thing that you want your constituents and anybody to hear, what is the one thing you want them to know about you, the person, Kevin D. Boone? What's that?
Reverend,
the honorable.
Honorable.
I'll look at it this
Reverend
way.
honorable.
Like what's one thing that, you know what I mean, that you could touch with? If you could talk to them directly right now, this is going to go crazy. What's one thing you want them to know?
I'm no different than you. I just went out and worked hard just like anybody else to get to where I am. No different. There's nothing special about me. I didn't go to no special schools. I went to the same public school system everybody else went to in Hempstead. Same middle school, same high school. I never went to college. Everything I learned was hands-on from being around the people that were actually doing it. Mm-hmm. So I got my knowledge from actually watching and being around in those circles. I didn't go to school for this. I went to village board meetings. I asked questions. After the meetings, I still ask questions. I would go straight up, even though I had a front door to getting to those elected officials. But I asked them some questions that they probably didn't want to answer. But like I said, it's always, I look at it this way. Don't be scared to ask. If you don't ask, and then you'll never know.
I like it. But the town hall meeting is cool. Us urban kids, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, we ain't going to no town hall meeting. We don't even know what a town hall meeting is. Meet us where we are. Because guess what? The future is the youth, because I have more voting years than an older person. The children will have, if God willing, they have way more voting years than people figuring it out in their 20s and 30s, right? Meet us where we are. I understand a lot of people are angry at Mayor Adams the way he conducted himself because you didn't understand the message when he's doing pull-ups in Brooklyn on the light. You understand? He's meeting when he's in the clubs and he's in different areas. He's meeting people where they are, because everybody's not coming to a town hall meeting. You understand? So like you said, when you knocked on every door, that's knocking on every door. You want to influence the young kids, you got to go out and see where the young kids are. If they're in the sports, you got to go to the sports. If they're in the community centers, you got to go there. But just relying on waiting for a person to be responsible or old enough to understand what a town hall meeting is and go there, once again, we're missing the mark completely.
And you're right. Now I'll say again, not harping on myself. I've done the elementary school where they have the little. I'm trying to think of what you would call them, where you would have the different people would come in for whether it be the firefighter, the elected officials.
Career day.
Correct.
Yeah.
Several career days, and even when they didn't have career day, I would pop into certain schools and talk to the kids. So I've always done that from kindergarten all the way up. I've always talked to the kids. I was actually out with some youth at the Nassau County Bethpage Fire Academy for training last Sunday, where I was out there with them, actually talking with them. 120 kids were actually out there training, doing different little firematic drills and everything else. And after we were having lunch, believe it or not, a lot of their questions were based on politics. So while I was sitting there actually talking to them, some of the other trainers and their parents and everybody sitting around in there listening, they tapped me on the shoulder and were like, "Yo, Kev, have you ever thought about joining us in our organization and being a part of what we do?" I said, "Nobody ever asked me." So they was like, "So
Nasty.
I said, "Sure, not a problem." And these organizations that are out here for these kids, like the NASA, what they do with the juniors, that's all grassroots funded. The parents and everything else, or certain fire departments will give money to these organizations. That money doesn't come from the elected officials, the government. And so what do? These organizations need funding like everybody else. And I'm going to look, once I get to be sworn in next year to be a part of their organization. My thing is to go back to some of these elected officials and these other corporations and say, "Hello, I need you to do me a favor and give something to these to this organization for these kids."
Around. You know, I'm gonna make the ask now. What we're gonna do in 2026, cause I'm gonna just throw it on air because I'm an affirmation person. We're gonna do a more than entitled career day. We're gonna do that.
I think that'll be fine. I think we need to put a pin in that.
We can't just talk. We gotta walk.
But we can't do it. What I'm saying, put a pin in it. I want to put a pin in it and develop it because we need to absolutely do that in person, right?
No, it's absolutely in person.
Oh yeah, so okay.
Absolutely. I'm talking about going to a school that look like us. I'm talking about like
Yeah.
K school or something like that.
Yes.
We're gonna bring a couple people like the Honorable Kev,
Yeah.
a couple of people to be like, "Yo,
Yeah.
look," because they all look like us.
Yes.
They all look like us. Whether it's your district or not, we'd be honored to have you because it's just the mindset.
Yes.
Like you said, so
Absolutely.
it's one thing for us to have it here, but let's do it in real life.
Listen,
I would love
I'm of the mindset I'll go anywhere because it's about the
it.
kids. They're our future.
My God.
You know, and that's the way you got to look at it.
I
My
like
God.
it. I like
would
it.
love it. I would love that.
That's a fact. So let me ask you. It seems like you know you motivated, you ready to go. You know you're still pursuing this thing. What's the mountaintop for you, right? What if you could tell us a little bit of like where your aspirations are and where your goals are and where you could see yourself, getting to politically if you're gonna continue in this career and things of that nature. Like where does Kev want to be? Like what's his end goal or his dream position? You know what I mean? Like
I mean, right now, we're going to be looking to rerun in 2026 for 27 election for trustee. I would
Okay.
say after I get back in, the goal would be to again run for mayor again. The
Okay.
only thing with me running for mayor at that point, I'll be a sitting trustee. So let's say let's say the outcome was again not what I want, I wouldn't lose my seat. I'd
Gotcha.
still be a trustee.
makes
I'm gonna
sense.
still be there to serve the community like I've been serving the community and continue to do what I've been doing. But as a mayor, I could serve and do a lot more for the constituents, for the kids, where it's about them and it's not about the backroom deals that are going on behind for the party and everybody else. And it's not about the constituents.
Right.
Because
I like that.
I look at it as the mayor, the village hall is the people's house. It's if I was the mayor, it's not my house. It's your house, and you should have access to your mayor. Like if I wasn't in a meeting, where, and if you say, do you have 15 minutes or 20 minutes, you can to sit here and talk to me or hear me out, I'm going to give you your time. Because the reason I'm sitting in that seat is because of you. I got voted in by you. So it would be wrong for me to say, go see my secretary and let's set up a meeting and come back and we'll discuss it when I have the free time right then and there, where I can sit there and talk to you and hear out what it is, your whatever problem that you may have, and let's get it rectified.
I like it. And we also got another question. Hayes got another one.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the upcoming mayoral election?
So he's talking obviously NYC.
NYC. What are your thoughts? You ain't got to go too deep, but what are your thoughts?
I'm Long Island, so I mean, honestly, nothing against what's his name? The other gentleman.
Mandani.
Nothing against him. I have my reasons that I like Cuomo.
Okay.
I just think that, and again, nothing against him. I think that Cuomo's more polished. He knows the ins and outs. He knows the politics of it all, and he can go through and get through certain doors and avenues where a new mayor coming in there straight out the gate without being in politics at all would have to try to navigate around those areas. He can go right to the person that needs to be dealt with and saying, I need this done. Where some other people may have to go and figure that out. That's just my opinion.
Can I give you? I gotta give you a little.
I'm with you, go ahead, because
I just feel like for somebody like Cuomo, he was the governor during an
if you're gonna do it, let's do it properly.
That's nice. Pardon me, sugar bop, honey bun. I don't mean to intercept.
There you go, cuz. I don't mean to intercept. There you go, cuz. We're gonna do it properly. Yeah.
But Cuomo was the governor of New York State during a critical time, right?
Here we go.
First of all, he was the voice during the pandemic.
Yep.
One thing I loved about Cuomo is the updates that he gave. When everybody was scared, he was on TV every single day letting us know, yo, is this many bodies over here? Is this, yo, stay away from over here? This is what we need to do. I just felt like he was in the moment, right? We also know how he left that moment, right? And for him to come down to the mayor of New York City, right? And matter of fact, let me just take it back first before I even go into that. Mandani, you said there's rooms and doors that he can't go into. How do we know that this brother can't be the one that actually break the barriers? And that's why this platform was created, because we're those type of people. We're the ones swimming up against stream, and he's a brother that's swimming against stream. So what I've seen in him, I'm just going to say what I've seen in him is that he actually talked about the people. There's one clip that went viral. I don't know if anybody saw. If y'all seen it, please put it in the comments, where they asked every single candidate, what are you going to do when you first come in office? 5 of the 6
I know what you're talking about.
said they want to go to Israel.
Go to Israel.
And he said, I'm going to Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, and Staten, because why am I going over there as the New York City mayor when we are starving right here? Right. And for stuff like that, and it reminds me of the stuff that you're saying. So for when you said Cuomo, I'm like, I'm surprised you're not that route, because that's exactly how you are. Like from the just the mindset. It's like, it doesn't matter how we get it done. Let's just get the shit done.
But my thing is, I see people giving him a hard time to get through some of those doors where they wouldn't do that to Cuomo. They just wouldn't do it, not just because of him. I mean, his name, I look at it with his father, Mario, who my father actually knew, Mario Cuomo, his dad. And it's just his family lineage, his name, and his work ethic and what he brings to the table. Nothing against the other gentleman. But when it comes down to seeing that chessboard and knowing how to navigate it, he already knows what to do, how to go about it, and probably their next move before they even made it. And again, nothing against him. He may have the drive, the tenacity, and everything to do the job, and I'm not taking that away from him. But in my mind, if I'm a New York City resident, I would want to know without a shot of a doubt, and that I could sleep well knowing that the person at the helm is somebody that when I wake up day in, day out, I don't have to worry about it because this man has my back. I'm not saying that he doesn't, but I know that Cuomo would knock it out the park.
I gotta cook now. I gotta cook. Come on.
Well, just a little quick comment from Al. Brother Al, Cuomo took care of the state. Having no experience in politics and trying to run the biggest city in the country, he would be coming in lame and slow. Where did the other candidate come from? If you're talking about Mandani.
Okay, but Here's the thing.
No,
Here's
we
the
don't get
thing.
that. I don't know.
This is why the country is in the position that it's in. This is why the state that is in the position is in. Think about what you just said. Oh, because of his last name. Because of his last name. How convenient is that? Most of people that look like us, our last name isn't powerful enough to put us in these rooms to make all these ba. Amazing that now we have to work twice as hard with less mistakes because our name can't put us in these rooms. So let's talk about these rooms. Now you get this name that puts you in the room, and guess what you do? You mismanage your opportunity. But what you're saying now is for a person that mismanaged his opportunity because obviously his name helped put him in that room and he was at a higher level instead of ascending, he's coming down. We should give him another chance. Let's give him another chance because of his name, because of his daddy, instead of giving somebody a chance that might be a disruptor to break the actual cycle of what we keep going through because people in power keep putting other people in power that we know are not right for us, but we keep allowing it anyway. That's completely counterproductive to everything that we're trying to do in the moment. We have to disrupt this cycle. We have to disrupt the cycle.
Also right. I like it. He's cooking.
Whoever it is or whoever you put in the office, whether it be him or Cuomo, you have to hold that person accountable to what they say and do.
Absolutely. Everybody.
So, and that's what it boils down.
Yes.
Regardless of who it may be. I'm just saying my opinion. If I was that NYC resident, my vote would be for Cuomo. But like I said, when it comes down to the ins and outs, knowing how to navigate and who to go to get things done, he can do that. He can make those calls where the other gentlemen, they may throw up roadblocks, especially on the Republican left and right, to keep him from getting and attaining the resources and things that he needs here in this city. The Republicans have means to do that because they control House, Senate, and everything else. So if you put somebody in there that they obviously they're straight up gonna say, we're not gonna work with this person no matter what. Vote him in if you want. We're giving you nothing. Is
the juice worth the squeeze, though?
Both of you are saying real right things. I personally would rather see a brother like you, Kev, in that motherfucker so we could break it and disrupt it. But the problem is they have the name they have. And guess what? We still hungry, Kev.
Well, it's about, I would say this. My thing is not about Republican or Democrat. Like I ran, the name of my thing was People Over Party United. And I stand by that. Whether it be Republican, Independent, Democrat, like-minded individuals coming together for the common cause of the people. Not the party, the people. And my thing was, me being elected, hold me accountable to everything I say and do. Hold me accountable. If there's something that you don't like that I did, pull my coattail, but let's have a conversation and I'll tell you why I did what I did. So now maybe you may not have understood it, you may not like it, but I'm explaining to you from A to Z why I did, how I did, and what was the outcome of this. And it's not to benefit me as the elected official, it's to benefit the constituent, the resident. Because again, you have to put the power back in the people's hands.
Absolutely.
The power is in the people's hands. Yet people fail to realize you hold more power than you know. You hold more power than you know. And the thing is, okay, you don't like the fact that this person did this, then the next time that he rolls around for office, vote his behind out. And then put somebody in there that's going to do the job.
I'm with you. And I'm with you. And my last point is just the same thing. It's the foundation of what we do. It's the foundation of entrepreneurship. It's the foundation of invention. It's the foundation of us revolting and fighting for our civil rights. The bottom line is this. If we stopped or we were scared to give somebody an opportunity because of the roadblocks that might be in front of us, then we would have never progressed anywhere, right? So do we rely on a system and or people that we see that are broken instead of fighting the harder fight? Because guess what? Even if it is a roadblock, doesn't mean it's impossible to get there. You just said it might be a fight. But guess what? If he achieves it, now we change everything. We disrupt the status quo. We change everything. So what we, that's what I'm saying. Like what the is the message we would rather just keep repeating this thing that we clearly see doesn't work.
But use us as an example.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Use us. We said this off camera. We're swimming upstream against the current.
Upstream.
We could be doing clickbait. We could be saying, yo, Kevin Boone, what scandal, whatever. No, we are saying this is a black man that's strong, and we want to hear your story and what you've gone through, right? Guess what? That's not sexy all the time.
No.
But guess what? We don't care what's sexy and what's not sexy because we're gonna make this shit hot. So I feel like people that are trying to be disruptors like that, they are gonna be the one to break the status quo. We are trying to break the status quo of the look of what our people look like on social media. Yo, you got to do this, you got to do that. You can be anything the hell you want to be because we are that dope. We are that creative. We are that innovative. We are that. We're letting you know you want to be like Kevin Boone, you can be. You want to be like Dr. Matthew Knows, you can be. You want to be like Greg Oden, you can be. You want to be like this, you can be. But what do we like if we don't really do that in real time? What are we really saying? So I just don't like the systems in place, and I just want us, at least our community, to know we can be anything, but we have to educate ourselves. We have to put in the work and all that other stuff, bro. I'd rather see people like you because I know you swimming upstream like a mug. You swimming upstream like a mug, no life jacket barely hang. I know what it is. Because you'll put in the work. You're knocking on every door. You got flack for knocking on the doors. I'm going to support that every day. And if you ain't knocking on the doors, I don't want to hear from you. That message. Yeah, as a community. And I hope I summed it up. Like, bro, I love this conversation.
Yeah, and you know what? I want to thank you. I want to thank you because guess what?
Honorable. Really.
We have to have these conversations. Here we go. This is what I'm talking about. This is the conversations. These are the debates. Bring up your concerns, right? Go back and forth. Get some information you might not have known. You understand, which gives you the power to research that and have a better conversation later and make a better decision later. This is why I keep stressing the importance of the education and doing it young and doing it early, right? So that we can have this conversation. The more we have this conversation, the more it leads to education. The better education we have, the better decisions we have. Put it back up, cuz let's see what Trini Meeks said.
I love this episode. Appreciate you guys creating a space for this conversation.
Right.
Our community, awesome guest, the Rev, honorable. I'm gonna add honorable. Kevin, salute.
That's a fact. You double, you know.
Double, you know what I mean? And Al had one too.
Yeah, talk to me.
I had one too. We just gonna leave because we don't want to go too down. We had Adams, and he did exactly what did he actually do while in office. People knew him from Brooklyn as borough president, and that's where he got votes. Then did nothing with the position, and it kind of hampers on what we were saying. People with the, you know what I'm saying, like when you get.
And I was kind of very disappointed when it came down to that with Eric Adams because honestly, I don't live in NYC, of course, but I expected more out of him than what he actually did. I was surprised at some of the things. I saw him doing much better. I was hoping for much better.
Okay.
And my thing is a lot of people once they get in there in the seat, they get too relaxed.
Okay.
Because they think that okay, now I've arrived. You can't take that type of mindset. Your thing is when you go in, like if my thing go in day one, hit the ground running, let's get to work.
Message.
Okay.
You know, my thing is I've never stopped being out here for my community. Since being in office, out of office, I have yet to stop. Everybody's like, Kev, you do too much. You know, some people say, Kev, you wear your heart on your sleeve, because I do. I have a love for my community and the people. You know, sometimes a lot of people don't show the love back, and it's okay. But that's what it is as an elected official. Everybody's not going to be, you know, how can you say it? Everybody's not going to love on you.
Yeah.
That's
you know,
fact.
Yeah.
It just is what it is, and you have to have tough skin.
Yeah. I just want to comment on what Al said. See, Al, we have to be careful when we make a just blanket statement and say he didn't do nothing. That's unfair to say he didn't do anything, right? Because we need information. What did he do? Now, I liked what Rev Honorable Kev said was, I thought he could do better. See, we have to stop doing that. We have to say, oh, this person didn't do nothing. They didn't do nothing. We have to accredit them for the things that they did do, because he actually accomplished a certain amount of things. But if you wanted him to do more, like Honorable Rev Kev said, and like we're saying, we can hold you accountable and not give you a second term, right? If we felt like, okay, you did a couple things, but we expected more of you, now we're going to give somebody else a chance. That's a completely different conversation than just saying a blanket statement of, well, what did he do? The problem when we say, well, what did the person do, is we spread misinformation. So for the uneducated people that especially don't know, now everybody starts to, yeah, what did he do? What did he do? When he actually might have done things that might have benefited them directly that they didn't know. For example, if he creates low-income housing, a certain amount of low-income housing, and guess what? They got an apartment in that building and didn't even know that that's what he did. Your apartment is because of the bill he signed or whatever the case may be, or benefits, right? Some type of benefits, right? Or services, things of that nature. So we don't want to spread misinformation on this show. What we want to say is like Reverend Honorable Kev said, we expect more. But we have to list these expectations. And with these expectations, we have to agree to this as a culture. That's another thing. If group A expects A, B, and C, but group B expects D, E, F, and so on and so on, then we have so many different expectations. Who's ever going to say they got what they were looking for?
Some will win, some will lose.
There we go. You see, once again, though, we're divided. You see, division. The division of a thing. So I appreciate the comment, Al, but you know,
we love you. And he's like, that's my personal opinion. I live in the city, stand on business. I love it. You stand on business from New York. That's our brother.
Again, I'm not mad, but it's our job. It's our job as the host of the host of this show to make sure that we disseminate the proper information. Everybody's allowed to their opinion, but we challenge you to solidify and validate your opinion with facts, because we have to be careful, because word of mouth, right? That bad news spreads way faster than good news. So you could actually spread misinformation or gossip or something that's wrong and destroy something when it's absolutely not true. And by the time you try to backtrack it or anything, the damage is already done. Hey, of course you're gonna do it.
I do want to say, I want to say this is a dope episode. I know we're wrapping up, man. This was such a refreshing episode, bro. Like the fact that we can have this honest conversation, tell you what we're going through, what we expect, and for you to be as an elected official telling you what you've accomplished, what we can do, and better understand the workings of it. So I appreciate that. Like, you were vulnerable, bro. Like a lot of this stuff, man. So I appreciate you.
No problem.
I want to do a walkthrough. I'm gonna put it on air. I want to do a walkthrough. So when you're doing re-election, call us up. We want to do a walkthrough. When you're knocking on the doors, we want to knock on the doors with you.
Oh, absolutely.
That type shit. Like what does that look like? You know what I mean? Like, how do we actually get the problem to the people and actually have that voice, right? That's what we want to make this shit cool.
Hold on, time out. Before you answer that, we got to be careful now, cuz. We got to be careful. One black person knocking on the motherfucking door, especially on a off hour of the day, it might be excusable. 3-4 black motherfuckers
with a camera
in Long Island, motherfucker. You know, Long Island, you could carry. I could bring the thing to Long Island. We knock on the wrong door. We gonna get the wrong decision. We might only get 2 doors to knock on it, and the walkthrough is over.
You'll be fine. I promise you.
If he got us, he got Secret Service.
I'm just saying, Kev, if you see a bunch of us walking up to your door, it might look a little crazy. What's going on here? Like
Revenue Honorable Kev Secret Service.
Look,
I know him, so I know them.
They're gonna be like, this is private property now. What you want?
I want you to vote for the Honorable Rav.
You'll be all right. But I greatly appreciate it. And like I say, my thing is like, I live in the Incorporated Village of Hempstead all my life. The school system, work for the village. I care just like everybody else. I have the same concerns as everybody else. I want a better quality of life like everybody else. So my thing is to bring everybody into the fold, not to keep them on the outside. Like to have those community meetings, to set up different committees within the village that are connected to the mayor's office, where I'm sitting down talking to these people on a regular basis. These are things that I was looking to do, and it wasn't just lip service. These are things that were going to happen the day I said, I, Kevin Boone, do solemnly swear. These are things that I have already talked to people in my neighborhood and had already tapped different people in different neighborhoods to be that go-to person. Whereas if they have an issue, their person comes to them. They come to me. Okay, let's fix this problem.
Okay.
Love that.
Yeah.
That, man. And you know what? Welcome to the family now. Welcome
There
to
you
the
go,
family.
cuz.
Welcome to the family, cuz.
Oh, hold on. Let's go and start it privately. You know what I'm saying?
Welcome, Honorable Kevin D. Boone, to the More Than a Title family, y'all. This is gonna be the first of many conversations.
Here we go. Yeah.
Wait. And before we actually give you the love, let's give you more love, because we're gonna tell people, we're gonna keep it real. So there was a conversation we had about 3 weeks ago. We had the Honorable Kevin on the show, and we and Cuzzo actually just having a conversation about the business, about the show. We're talking about the show. How can we better the show? Yo, damn, cuz I'm tired. Yo, I'm tired too. Yo, what's going on, man? Yo, we got to keep going. We got to fight the good fight. We are pepping each other up to be like, yo, we got to do this shit. Yo, it may not be working right now. It's going to work. It's going to do this. Honorable Kev calls us up. 9 o'clock at night.
Wait. Random Monday.
Random Monday, Tuesday. Didn't expect the call. There was no text message. And we get Kev calling. We like, yo, Kev's calling. Let me just merge the call. And it was like, yo, I'm honored to be on the show, man. I appreciate you, brothers, and I'm proud of you, brothers. I'm watching you guys right now as we speak. And in that moment, that's exactly what we needed to hear. So I just want to say thank you, brother. You know what I'm saying? You didn't know that in that moment, but we are here for a reason. I believe in that shit. I believe in it. We met you for a reason. We met Tori for a reason. He introduced you for a reason. Let's not make this the last time. Let's build on this, because we are here for a reason. You called us, and that shit made our night.
That's a fact.
Woke up the next day with another extra, you know what I mean? A little more win. You believe. Yo, people believe.
And I've always been to the mindset of whatever I can do to help out anybody.
Yeah.
Whoever I can connect you to, then I'm going to connect you to make sure that you succeed. I've never made it about myself. And like I said, you brothers are doing a phenomenal job. I love what it is you're doing. And if there's anything that I can do to help facilitate to get you to that next level, I'm going to do that. But I'm, like I said, and I'm not looking to do it to expect anything back from you. I just want to see you guys win.
Yeah.
And that's straight up from the heart.
And I'm glad you said that, because Cuzzo, please inform them of the criteria and the perks and the benefits that come with being part of the More Than a Title village and family. Please explain to them.
Yeah, so anybody we spoken, we have 241 episodes, Kev. You are now in access to everybody who's come before you and anybody who will come after you. You are part of the community. So if there's anybody we speak to, they're usually like, yo, I would love to get in touch with this person. You just send a text message. You already have, we have a group chat already. So we're going to start it and just be like, just to kind of revive it, whatever. But you need anything, anybody. You want something, we hit the person up, we check your calendar, we put you on a phone call, and then we get off the call. It doesn't matter what business gets done. We don't care. We want you guys to connect. This is the power of the community. You gave us 2 hours of your time. You can be with your kids, your family, wife, anybody, but you're here with us. This is our way of paying it back.
But
and
like
we need that shit.
You guys allowed me to be a part of the show. So I give it back to you, and I thank you, because like I said, you didn't have to. You could have told Tori no. You know what I'm saying? So again, I give my thanks 100% back to you, and I'm honored humbly to be on the show. And I thank you both very much. Thank you both.
Oh shit. Oh, you don't. Reverend Honorable Kev, God damn it. Cuzzo, he did it again. He didn't even realize. He said, yo, I want to be on the podcast. I want to be on one of the best podcasts. Made a call to Tori. Tori made it happen. Look, he can't help it. Yo, his blessings just don't goddamn stop, bro. I want it. I got to have it. I need it now. I'm going to be honest with you, Kev.
Savage! I'm a savage! Oh!
Kev, you be savage, Kev. Yeah, I'll be honest.
You're savage.
I
love this shit.
Before we leave, Kev, please do us the honor. We've had a lot of engagement on this show, which means people are listening. See, now you got their attention, right? People are listening. So I guarantee you there's going to be people that want to reach out to you, people that want to connect with you. Please let the fans and the listeners know what's the best places to get in contact with you and the ways that they can support you once they find out about the cause that you're championing.
Oh, thank you. Well, one of the ways is because like I didn't discuss it on here, but I do real estate. I've been in real estate for over 20 plus years in Long Island, but I do real estate all over. I also do life insurance, and I'm licensed in New York, Delaware, and North Carolina. I do that as well, and I have various different products and services that I can offer. You could either email me at Kevin, Kevin, Boone at kw.com, or you could reach me directly. And some people say I'm crazy, but everybody has my cell number anyway. And that's 516-281-6059. And get to me directly, whether it's real estate related and or life insurance related. I'll be able to. My thing is, I'm not looking to go out here and put people in situations that is going to buffer my pockets. My thing is to look out for the average everyday person, that goes out here that works hard for their money, but wants it spent in, especially with life insurance done rightly, giving you, I would say, giving you a policy based on your needs, not based on what a company thinks you should have. So I tailor like life insurance policies based on, you tell me you can afford this, I tailor that policy around you based on that, the term, the type of length of time that you need it and everything else, and tailor it to you so that you know that you and your family are good for the rest of your lives.
So you know what that sounds like, Cuzzo? The last two things that he said that he did to add to the resume, it's a celebration because they know it's coming. That sounds like a part two.
That's definitely like a part two. We was doing the life insurance conversation on green screen. There's a lot of misconceptions that our community has about life insurance, and we're going to debunk those. So we're going to get you, brother, if you can come back on before the end of the year, we'll figure something out. We'll have something tailored specifically to that so we can make sure people are informed.
Once again, people giving you information. Go ahead, Kev.
I greatly appreciate it. Like I said again, I give it back to you guys. I'm humbly appreciative of this honor to even be here on the show with you. The best of the best that the podcast in the podcast industry, these two gentlemen right here doing big things. I'm just humbly grateful to be a part of it. So thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate you. So also, Kev, part two to the welcome to the family is, if you have any event that you would like the More Than a Title cast to possibly come out and support, because we come out to Long Island and things of that nature, please let us know. Or if you have any information that you would like us to get out to the people, right, please send it to us and we'll definitely get it out to the people for you, right? Because that's what we do. We also show up, even if we're not going to cover the event. We'd like to show up and show support of the event, because again, that's what the village does, right? So please take us up on that offer, hold us accountable to that, right?
Because another thing, I was just tapped to be the government affairs director for the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. So that'll take place in 2026, where I'll be getting sworn in under that umbrella as well.
Yeah.
Look, that's good. So that'll be a dope next episode, because real estate is obviously something that's wealth building, and we try to use it for generational wealth and passing it down, which also can directly tie into how do we get funds for that, because you can use insurances and ways to get money after you've paid into it and things of that nature to possibly buy that. So that's a perfect collaboration for next episode that we can have. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, if I'm wrong, if I'm wrong, let me know I'm wrong. I said phenomenal. We said phenomenal. And we already booked a part two. You already hear us talking about it. The Reverend Honorable Kev came on. He was vulnerable. He told you about his experiences. He was fortunate enough that he had people in place, like we call the cheat code, to help him get a one-up. Listen, we hear a lot of times in our society when we don't have that chance. This is a perfect example of what you could look like and what success could look like when you do have that chance, right? So we're going to try to bring you a mixture of both, right? So that you can see the difference in why we go so hard to try to teach you guys we need to build generational wealth. Now, what Kev didn't tell you was he's part Jamaican. Because if you're listening to the show, he done had about 1,500, 17, 27, 800,000 jobs.
I've always
you
been told that.
What I'm saying?
Even when I was a lot younger, I was actually working for the village. I had 2 part-time jobs and was DJing in clubs.
Hey, man.
Yeah, man. You understand what I'm saying? So again, but kept keying in on the key word, ladies and gentlemen, work ethic, work ethic, work ethic. He got the opportunity to get a job, to do a thing, but it was his work ethic after he got the job which helped him persevere, right? We have to not only concentrate on getting the opportunity, but excelling at the opportunity when we get it, because that promotes you, it shows good for you, but it leaves the door open for the people behind you. Remember, sometimes we only get in that room, that one person. If we mess up that opportunity, it makes the next person's job or opportunity chance almost scarcity, almost you don't get it. You understand what I'm saying? So we got to be responsible with that. So again, he came on, he was vulnerable. He told you that he's a man of the people, being a firefighter, being a politician and things of that nature. He is giving of himself, trying to make this world better. He's trusting in the human factor, not a political factor but the human factor. We're all human beings, right? So again, this is a man of the people. This is somebody that you need to learn more information about. You need to see how you can support him. We need to see how we can create the next versions of him within our youth to continue to fight to eventually change the situation.
Facts.
He's been hustling, he's been grinding, he's been putting in the work for a very, very long time, which reiterates what we say in the show every single time. The dream is free, but the hustle will last so separately. You know what it is? Second favorite day of the week, Pod Day. We're going to see you next week. We got another couple phenomenal guests. It don't stop. It's your favorite podcast. Who but us? You heard?
No. Be safe. Halloween too. Y'all be safe.
For real. Yeah, be safe out there. You already know.
Yeah, I mean, we out here.
What you know about